Kasali, I hope so my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Ah, guy, you don't ready. I just the last minute instruction where you give me yesterday. Now they cause more delay.
Which instruction?
Maybe now you say make I change the meter, make you no read again.
Which time did I make you change meter? Oh, Kasali, why you do like order like this? No? Eh? You don't get sense. You don't read the text message. Nobody I want to send them to. Like Kasali, my electrician, make it come house, call me, do my meter so that you don't go to read again. You're the electrician.
You're electrician.
Yes, now.
So you call Kasali electrician. Make you call him. Just your meter. Make it for no read again, Abi. So you said you want join people where no one they pay never bill again, Abi. Oga, you know good now. You don't listen, you know they behave like all these stiff people.
Oh, wait, what you change for your motor? What you change for?
Full light. Fuel gauge. Speedometer.
For what thing are you for? Come out for home, my motor. I bet you identify for me.
Okay. Now don't do something we corrupt. And do something come backfire. Now go come they find how to dodge them.
What you talk?
They greet you.
This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadayi Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
What you want by
one plantain? But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, na the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy am. Make her show you something.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network, and joining me in the studio this afternoon is amazing Wealth Oduyemi. He's a public affairs analyst. It's good to have you in the studio.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure.
I feel so excited because you're twinning, you know. Such a coincidence. I mean, it's
Valentine's Day.
At least I'm not wearing white. So you're the one doing Valentine.
I have white teeth. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, let's look at the first story for today on economy. Vice President Kashim Shettima emphasized the importance of prioritizing local content and promoting made-in-Nigerian products, highlighting the Executive Order 003, which mandates use of locally manufactured products is still active. Speaking at the National Manufacturing Policy Summit, he announced a partnership with the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria to create a roadmap and policy framework to revitalize the manufacturing sector. Shettima urged support for local firms to boost industrialization, reduce economic imbalance, and decrease dependency on imports. They identify 5 keys pillars for the sector growth: productivity and competitiveness, energy security, macroeconomic impoverishment, promoting local content, and leveraging trade for export. The summit aimed to address the sector's challenges and enhance its competitiveness. Other speakers include MAN President Francis Meshioye and former Finance Minister Olusegun Aganga, emphasized the need for manufacturing to be a national priority and call for reducing excessive custom duties and regulatory burdens. Key government officials and industry leaders attended the event. Okay, this is from the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, urging the people, the masses, to see the products, things made in Nigeria as important, because you know that people will say that exporting everything, including toothpick, including matches, including
That's important.
yeah. So, but we have a lot of things on in Nigeria, and it seems we don't take it. You said something before we start. You said something see finish. So I don't know. What do you think about Kashim's, the vice president's opinion? Do you think that based on what he said, that people will really take advantage of the things made in Nigeria, or is it just a normal coming to say something?
Well, I want to believe that the summit was apparently put up for that purpose, to discuss the plight of manufacturers and, of course, the daily uphill tasks bedeviling the industry, particularly the manufacturing industry. And then, of course, you know that the cost of business and cost of running a factory is way high, and the global economic meltdown cut across, from the point of sourcing materials for production, coupled with overheads required in putting up a finished product, on the table. It's a bit on the high. And if the government policy does not support or encourage local manufacturers, you tend to see that the desired market that we do the patronage will not be there. So expectedly, like every other leader, you tend to encourage, because you are the president or vice president of all, whether both those who are for and those who are against. So help the manufacturers to also look inwards, inward sourcing materials, raw materials as a and then government policy should streamline the rigidity around some of the plight of the manufacturers in sourcing material, raw material, cost of production, and many other policy, double taxation, and some infrastructural base to ease off moving their products from the factory to various distribution channels, to ensuring that doing business in this environment or in this space is rewarding. And also quality control, because aside the fact that patronizing locally made will clients or Nigerians be given the treat of satisfaction, having value for their money, because we also see that SON and other related agencies saddled with the responsibility of monitoring and effective compliance level of associated with production is achieved or met. That standard is not devalued, or ensuring that the standard is sustained. We also help the manufacturer to improve on their production line, so that not only locally made or local consumption, but it will be worthy of exporting. Because if your local market does not appreciate what you are producing, except if with your target is not the local market, and then you probably want to do your production and then export, but there are standards to be met.
Okay, I know you have already mentioned it somehow, but I really want to ask this again for the purpose of those that are actually watching us. Now, we know that as of 2 months ago, the level of fake products from our country, in our country, was something that even the leaders, the whole Nigerian actually bemoan of. And at this point, the vice president is talking about patronizing things locally made. And or you actually mentioned something about the suits and all that. That is to show that he prefers what comes from his own country. But in a situation that majority of these things that are being produced in our country are fake, what do you think? Do you think that Nigerians will want to, take that risk going to get these things when they are not even certain the kind of products that are being used? And even when they get some of these people, the leaders, they know that this one have potential of making this thing, but because of lack of appropriate equipment, because of lack of appropriate chemical to use in doing a certain thing, they wouldn't put them up in that trap. Rather, they prefer taking them to correctional center and all of those. What do you think with all of these that are happening? Do you think Nigerians want to?
The fact that a discovery were made that the proliferation of adulterated products, fake products, it tells us that there is a mechanism of monitoring that you may want to give it to them that could have been that they are alive to their responsibility, because by the discovery of some of these revelations, as it that some have been in the business for quite some time, some get the original, then reproduce. And remember, some of this reproduction are done locally, telling you the capacity base of the creativeness of persons who delve into this kind of business. If the right atmosphere and encouragement from government is in place, coupled with the basic infrastructure that will endear the interest to go into production or manufacturing, having submit to the regulatory procedures and protocol required to being in such space or business, then you can see that the appreciation will be more acceptable. Considering products that are also tagged fake could also tell you that fake does not exist without the original. The reason why there is fake is because there is an original. So the premium interest should be on encouraging the production of genuine products, original products, not subsidizing, not subverting just on a policy phase or on a paper phase, but the real thing, the infrastructure that will support that is not in place, because some of these things are capital intensive, and then in the wake of the reality, it's also what the government prioritize. And you could see in the report that there are calls for government to prioritize concentrated efforts towards manufacturing.
But Mr. Wells, do you, talking about encouraging locally made goods, I don't know if you are aware that majority of the vehicles that have been given out so far since the beginning of this administration are actually imported ones, except exemption of one state, that is Abia State, that is using a particular brand, a particular from a locally made Nigerian, which they are not even it seems the leaders are not really appreciating that. Make Nigerians to embrace what is with our leaders.
No, the point is also that it's a procedural approach. It's not an automatic space. For example, now, I'm so sure that you listen to music. The chunk of the music we listen to right now are locally produced. Years ago, nobody wants to... when some of those boys in those days started off, everybody said these ones are jokers. But right now, Nigerian music industry is rated about the third or second in the world. So we started off a process. They were mimicking, and then begin to go. Then people now begin to divert interest into studying that industry as a way, just like the Nollywood started off. Some people speak also. The government roll out some tax off and duties reductions on some classify some very consumables and manufacturer materials where they have relaxed tax and of course given some waivers. You know, these are incentives that could be, you know, put in place by government, and we encourage you know, manufacturers, and we encourage investors in that space that if duty on certain items base that will be used in doing production and all that is being relaxed, it will encourage persons or investors to, you know, channel attention in that space. And at the end of the day, over time, when government now sees that it's not yielding impact and more persons are operators, or you now have more operators, and then we probably want to now you know, introduce the tax system.
The Southwest is also pursuing the creation of OK Ogun State. The only question I have to ask here, of course, let's start with this minimum wage. When we read in a story yesterday that some states are still struggling to implement the 30,000 naira minimum wage, and the 62,000, according to what the Governors Forum said, that is not visible. And they're talking about creating new states. Are they done taking care of, are they giving the what is required to make these other states, the people in these other states, comfortable? Are they done doing the appropriate things here? Why do they want to create a new one? It's more talking about creating new universities when they have not been able to take care of the staff in the old ones. Why are they talking about new states? What do you think about this idea?
You know, the National Assembly and the House of Representatives is the formation of varying interest groups, and which of course spread across the 36 states and the federal capital. Now, you know that we have 774 local governments, and then we have varying ethnic groups that's from about 400 the last time I checked. So every group have their interests. Other geopolitical region in the country have, particularly in the north, you have the 7. If it is the northwest, the northwest have 7 states. Then the middle belt, and then you have the south, the southwest. Some of these states, I mean, this region have minimum 6 to 7, whereas you now have in the southeast, we have 5 states. So the point is that can't we push that we should have equalness, I mean, equity?
The economic stability in our country, and how will it also help to fight insecurity?
No, it's not about the country. It's about an interest. You know, I said the house is a formation of various interests.
Definitely.
So when it
has to do with government, it should be, the interest should be something that is for the people and not being against. So is this for the interest of everyone?
When you say we, it's an open check. We could be 2, 3, and we could. So it is what the people in that space advocating for that, telling their representative that this is what we want you to take to the house and go and front. Whether they have the necessary convincing power and argument is another kettle of fish, because it's a bill. And if it passes the first reading, passes the second reading, and the whole idea is supported by the interest as far as it's concerned, because it is not about the numbers, it's about this and this and this will enhance the economic space of our environment, and this will also come into the larger purse. And then we also have channels to do business and more business in like manners, and then using the poverty line as the case may be, because it's all about debate. And if you have a superior debate and everybody can see reason as to, they will want to support, because some of these things has to do with lobby. At the end of the day, if you now have for equality, You have 7 years, you have 7 years, you have 6 years, you have 6 years. I have 5. Is there any room for me to upgrade my 5? Over the years since the time that this creation has been done, has there been any improvement? Now, let me tell you something recently. In an organization, like in the scripture where you have David making carpenters and all that, now making them men of valor. Now we got to from that lower point to the point. So when we were not doing argument, there was an instance where argument of interest, whether to still regulate that group or give them what due them, I was able to argue it on the table. That Sama, based on where these people were 7, 8 years ago, now look at where they are. This is what they are asking for. Do they merit? And then evidence and statistics shows that they merit, and it was approved. The same thing is the proponents of those pushing for extra state. They may have their argument, and if the argument is superior, by all means, and you can woo the majority to your side to say, you have been deprived over the time. We were just looking at you from afar. We are never privy to certain data that will support your argument and suppress our objection. But if those data and your performance index have the capacity to suppress our no, then our no eventually can be a yes. And it's a win-win situation because it is what you are bringing to the table. Because if there are no opportunity of you adding value to the already system that is comatose, then why are you giving it to you? Then what about those who are not bringing anything to the table? They can't pay salary, they can't do anything. I'm talking about people who have potential, who have a track record of growing. They just need a push, a little push here, a little push here, and a recognition. Some person is just recognition they want. Once they have that recognition, then you begin to see results.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wealth. This is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network. We'll just go on a very short break. When we return, we'll look at the rest of the stories.
They vote for government, but will not get good governance
at all.
Road so in no day, light o usai. The infrastructure uncle, he can't turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
Now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't call.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear your network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. We call you back.
Their behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories.
Welcome back. This is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network, and now the rest of our stories. Nigerian Senate passed the second reading of the bill to allow Nigerians living abroad to obtain the national identity number, sponsored by Deputy Senate President Senator Baru Jabrin. The bill seeks to repeal the National Identity Management Commission Act of 2007 and establish a national identity database. The name will maintain its database register individuals and issued identity credentials. The proposed legislation aims to enhance the efficiency and inclusivity of the identity management system, streamlines personal data sharing with robust protection measures, and replace criminal penalties for non-use of NIN and with administrative enforcement to encourage compliance. Jibrin highlighted the bill's importance for socio-economic development, national security, and effective identity management. Okay, how possible would this be? First of all, they are talking about people over there, overseas, that's abroad, linking their name. I don't know how is that going to happen. Remember that we are not using the same line. We are not nothing of
database collating information of citizens in that nation is captured. You know, some of these things are. The way it runs here is that you have to be on ground and make your persons, make your appearance so that basic data can be captured. Now, if this see-through or fly-through, you know that it can be done through the embassies of our foreign embassies, where some of persons or some of our nationals in some of these nations can easily go and get their data captured. Some may not have the idea of naturalizing or changing allegiance. Some may probably make attempt, but so it won't seem as if that you reduce as much as possible bureaucratic bottleneck that you may tend to encounter as as citizen who, during the last election, there were a proposal as to whether consideration should be given to diasporans for diaspora voting, where people in diaspora can also indicate interest to wisely make cast their vote to candidate of their choice. So it's an initiative to encourage inclusivity.
Identification number. It was one of those things that will help to track so many things in our country. And then that is why we have to link this to banks, to this, to that, whatever thing you want to do, they will ask for NIN. But so far, a lot is going on and they've not been able to track anything. We are not even talking about registration of SIM card. We are talking about NIN now. What is the purpose of living? Is this a priority that government, that the House of Representatives should look into? Like, what are they trying to do? Would they also make sure that these people link their NIN to their banks and all of those? And even if it is done, what about the crimes that is going on in our country and they've not been able to trace anything? Of what use to what they want to do now?
I don't want to be sentimental because I think your pitch or your tone is going that direction. Rise in the future and nip it at the bud.
And this will be one of the reasons.
You may want to conclude at this point right now that it could be a waste of time, it does not achieve, for the fact that something is not working or you have not gotten to the finishing line of solving a problem does not stop you from making effort. Not taking anything or doing anything at all itself is risky. So the point is that, yes, some of this feedback will come, but there are ways, what sells to you or what is indicating that there is a way to solving that problem that you are yet to come down. So in your drive to press forward, keep on pushing, you will come across solutions that will arrest the problem now or later in the future. So that's the point to which I want to say. I'm not speaking for the government, but basically in my own private operation, these are some of the ways to which you meet problem at the board. And why are we here? The reason why we are here is not to speak for or against anyone. It's to put the facts on the table and query areas where we can query, and then also applaud areas where successes are recorded.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wealth. Let's look at the last story for today. Nigerian filmmaker Patrick Doyle claimed that the entertainment industry is controlled by Satan while reacting to singer Thames' recent BET Award. Thames, the secular musicians, won the Best Gospel Award at the 2024 BET Award, which shocked mainstream gospel musicians. Doyle advised gospel singer to stop seeking validation from the entertainment industry, which is referred to as a mafia. He shared his view in a Facebook post cautioning gospel artists which align with the secular entertainment sector. He wrote, "I feel the pain of mainstream gospel artists who feel slighted that an evidently secular musician, Thames, was awarded for the best gospel song. That said, I believe it is about time that committed Christians should stop is the grip of Satan." An actor, Patrick, said it seems Satan is the one ruling the entertainment industry now because of the award that was given to Thames. But let's look at it. Thames is a secular musician, and awarding her as the best gospel artist. What is your take on that?
Well, I think Patrick Dolly I want to throw my weight to his position, because the point here is notice that a widely acclaimed award organizer tend to recognize an evidently artist for 2024, as the case may be. The point is there is there's an advice he threw out to underline the word committed Christians, and not just those who probably are looking for the approval of men, or those who, because of the social media presence and the kind of your contribution or your act, then there is a mix-up somewhere. Yes, of course, you probably want to say, oh, what about those who are putting effort, burning candle, burning nights, going for roadshow, etc., etc. Look, this is how it plays. Dolly is just stating the obvious. As far as the entertainment industry is concerned, it belongs to certain cabals. And of course, and the whole idea is that the element or the players in such spaces, find it offensive to acknowledge the supremeness of God, and therefore they probably want to slight in any possible way of doing that to erase or remove the originality that is in the word gospel, and now center more on the commercial aspect of it, and then human gratification or acceptance. So, point blank, if you are very cautious of your faith, of the fact that you want to impart life, the opinion of men or selected persons who have an ulterior motive to, shade certain Asian beliefs, you need to be very wary, and then you need to be very circumspect.
Okay, so explaining that further, I will really want to understand, and also others, when that he talked about validation of men, because we know that we don't, I'm saying we don't, of course, we are all here. The Christian musicians, how did he underline that? Committed Christian musicians, do they really seek validation of men before they put song out there? When he's talking about validation, in what aspect is he really coming from?
The point is very tricky when you are in that space, because the point is that you are not just singing. Good enough, yes, you want to use your belief, your faith, being a Christian, to drive home a point, to drive home a message. But as human, you get to a point where you have a fixated, you are expecting a kind of an acceptance. And there's a way to which, when that acceptance is not coming, you probably want to query why, because it is not how